the worst mistakes aren't made in anger. They're made when you're convinced you'll never face the consequences. If you've ever watched the most popular person in the room destroy someone just because they could, stay until the end. Because this isn't the story of a weak man getting revenge. It's the story of a quiet man who stopped letting everyone else write his ending. Westbridge University wasn't famous because of its academics. It was famous because reputation meant everything. Your clothes, your friends, your social media followers, even where you sat during lunch became part of your identity. Some students graduated with degrees, others graduated with influence. And no one ruled that campus more than Sabrina Hale. Beautiful, confident, captain of the University Marketing Society, student ambassador. Half the professors adored her. The other half tolerated her because she made the university look good. Freshmen copied the way she dressed. Brands invited her to campus events. Students laughed whenever she laughed. If Sabrina ignored someone, everyone else ignored them too. Then there was Noah Carter. He wasn't ugly, far from it. Tall, dark hair that always looked slightly messy, sharp jawline, quiet brown eyes. The kind of face people noticed until he opened his mouth, which almost never happened. He sat in the last row, finished every assignment early, worked evenings at a neighborhood bookstore, never attended parties, never chased popularity. Most students barely knew he existed, but almost everyone in his class had noticed one strange thing. Whenever Sabrina walked into a lecture hall, Noah looked up, just for a second, then quickly looked away. People started connecting dots that didn't exist. I think he likes her. I've caught him staring. He's probably obsessed. Campus gossip didn't need proof. It only needed entertainment. Within 3 days, the rumor had spread through nearly every faculty building. The handsome, quiet guy had a secret crush on the campus queen. Nobody asked Noah if it was true, because gossip is always more exciting than facts. One Thursday afternoon, Sabrina was having lunch with her circle outside the student center. 8 people, perfect selfies, perfect smiles. A second-year student rushed over. Sabrina. She leaned closer. You know that quiet guy from business analytics? What about him? They say he's crazy about you. The table erupted with laughter. Which one? The tall one who never talks. Oh, Sabrina frowned. The bookstore guy? I think so. Another friend laughed. He literally watches you every lecture. Someone else added, I heard he keeps your pictures. He probably dreams about marrying you. None of it was true, but every new sentence sounded believable enough. Sabrina rolled her eyes dramatically. You? The table exploded. One word, that was all it took. Unfortunately, Noah had walked past just in time to hear it. He froze, only for a second, long enough for Sabrina to notice him. She smirked. Oh look, the fan himself. Every head turned. Dozens of students nearby stopped talking. Noah wished the ground would split open beneath him. Instead, he kept walking. That should have been the end of it. Instead, Sabrina stood up. Hey, he stopped, slowly turning around. You've been staring at me for weeks. Her voice carried across the courtyard. If you're going to have a crush on me, at least be confident enough to admit it. Laughter. Phones appeared. Someone began recording. Noah swallowed. I wasn't, she interrupted. Relax. I'm not interested. More laughter. I just thought I'd save you from embarrassing yourself. One of her friends pretended to wipe away tears. This is painful. Another whispered loudly enough for everyone to hear. Imagine thinking you actually had a chance. Noah's ears burned. He looked around. Nobody was helping. Some laughed, others simply watched. He took one slow breath. I'm sorry if there was a misunderstanding. Then he walked away. Behind him, the laughter only grew louder. By sunset, the video had spread across nearly every student group chat. People changed around Noah almost overnight. Some called him Romeo. Others whistled whenever Sabrina walked past. Girls giggled whenever he entered classrooms. Even students who'd never spoken to him suddenly knew his name. Not because of anything he'd done, because humiliation was entertaining. The bookstore became his escape. Unlike campus books, never judged him. One evening, while shelving new arrivals, the owner looked over. You've been quiet, Noah smiled weakly. I'm always quiet. The old man chuckled. No, you're carrying something? Noah hesitated, then simply said, I made the mistake of becoming entertainment. The owner nodded. You know what's interesting about people? They cheer loudest when someone falls. But when someone quietly stands back up, they suddenly pretend they believed in them all along. Those words stayed with Noah. 2 weeks later, Westbridge University announced something enormous. The annual National Innovation Challenge. The winning university team would receive funding from several major companies. Internships, scholarships, national media coverage. Every department wanted in. The university would select one team after an internal competition. Guess who immediately became team captain for marketing? Sabrina. Guess who quietly signed up for data strategy? Noah. Nobody noticed. Nobody cared. Not yet. Because everyone assumed Sabrina's team would win. After all, she always did. Or so everyone believed. What most students didn't know was that Sabrina wasn't nearly as brilliant as her reputation suggested. She was charismatic, excellent in presentations, fantastic in interviews, but behind closed doors other people often carried the work. She carried the spotlight, and this year's competition was different. It demanded real analysis, real strategy, real numbers, not just confidence. The first time Noah saw the challenge brief, he smiled. for the first time in weeks. Because this was something popularity couldn't solve. This required skill, and skill didn't care how many followers someone had. Campus gossip changed direction almost immediately. They're both competing. This is going to be hilarious. What if Romeo beats Queen Sabrina? As if, no chance. Students began treating the competition like reality television. Every practice session attracted spectators. Every presentation sparked fresh gossip. Then something strange started happening. Judges consistently praised Noah's team's work. Quietly, without fanfare, without flashy speeches. Their ideas simply worked. Meanwhile, Sabrina's presentations looked incredible, but judges kept asking difficult technical questions. Questions she struggled to answer without glancing toward her teammates. For the first time, tiny cracks appeared beneath her perfect image. She noticed, and she hated it, because popularity had always protected her. Now only results mattered, and results couldn't be manipulated with a smile. The first leaderboard appeared the following Monday. Teams crowded around the giant digital screen inside the business faculty atrium. Third place, economics. Second place, marketing. First place, data strategy, Noah's team. For 3 full seconds, the entire atrium fell silent. Then came the whispers. No way, they actually beat Sabrina? I thought her team was unbeatable. Sabrina forced a smile for everyone watching. Relax, she laughed. It's only the first round. Outwardly, she looked unfazed. Inside, she was furious. She had never been second. Not in debate, not in student elections, not in competitions. Certainly not to the quiet man she'd publicly embarrassed only weeks earlier. That afternoon, her team gathered inside the Student Innovation Lab. One teammate, Alicia, nervously placed the evaluation sheets on the table. The judges said our market analysis wasn't detailed enough. Another teammate sighed, we need better data. Sabrina folded her arms. No, we need to know what they're doing differently. A silence settled over the room. Then one of the boys leaned forward. I know someone in their department. We might be able to see their draft. Alicia immediately shook her head. That's cheating? No, he replied casually. It's just gathering information. Sabrina didn't answer, but she didn't stop the conversation either. Sometimes silence was permission. Meanwhile, Noah had no idea any of this was happening. He was busy helping his own teammates. Unlike most group leaders, he listened more than he spoke. When someone had a better idea, he admitted it. When someone struggled, he stayed after class to help. Little by little, the same students who barely noticed him before were beginning to respect him. One evening, after another long practice session, his teammate Maya smiled. You know, I believed those rumors about you. Noah looked up from his laptop. What rumors? That you were weird. Obsessed. Creepy. She laughed awkwardly. I feel terrible now. Noah shrugged. Most people believed them. Weren't you angry? Why you didn't deny anything? I was angry. So why didn't you fight back those rumors? He closed his laptop. Because arguing with gossip only gives it more attention. It dies faster when people run out of lies to tell. Maya smiled. No wonder your team trusts you. Across campus, the rumors surrounding Sabrina were beginning to change. Not because she'd done anything wrong. Yet, people simply noticed she looked different, less relaxed, more impatient. Whenever someone mentioned Noah's team, her smile disappeared. One afternoon, 2 first-year students accidentally compared Noah's presentation to Sabrina's while standing only a few feet away. I actually understood his. Same. Sabrina's looked prettier, though. She walked past them without saying a word, but she remembered every sentence. 3 days before the semifinal, Noah arrived at the Innovation Lab early. Something felt off. His laptop bag wasn't where he'd left it. He frowned. Someone had moved it. Nothing appeared missing, at least not immediately. Later that evening, while reviewing his files, he noticed one folder had been opened. Then another, then another. He hadn't opened them. Someone else had. His stomach tightened. He quietly checked the login history. An unfamiliar account had accessed the shared drive for exactly 12 minutes. No files had been deleted, but someone had clearly been looking. He didn't accuse anyone. Instead, he quietly changed every password, enabled 2-factor authentication, backed up every project, and said nothing. His teammates looked confused. Everything okay? He nodded. I just don't like taking unnecessary risks. The semifinal presentations arrived. This time, the judges asked every team spontaneous questions. No rehearsed speeches, no memorized scripts, just real understanding. Noah's team answered every question calmly. When one judge challenged their financial projections, Noah walked to the whiteboard and solved the calculation step by step. The room watched in silence. Even professors exchanged impressed looks. When his presentation ended, the applause lasted longer than expected. Then it was Sabrina's turn. She entered confidently. Elegant suit, perfect posture, perfect smile, her opening was flawless. For 10 minutes, she completely owned the room, then a judge interrupted. Can you explain how your customer retention model produced these figures? A tiny pause. She glanced toward her teammate. He looked down. She answered anyway. The judge frowned. That doesn't match the data in your report. Another question followed, then another. Her confidence slowly cracked. By the time she left the stage, the applause was polite. Nothing more. Outside the auditorium, students immediately gathered in groups. I've never seen her struggle before. Did you notice she couldn't explain her own charts? Noah destroyed that presentation. Sabrina walked past them pretending not to hear. Inside, every word landed like a punch. That evening she called an emergency meeting. Her closest friends arrived first, then her teammates. She closed the classroom door. No more mistakes. One teammate sighed. We're trying. Trying isn't enough. We're losing. Alicia finally spoke. We're losing because they're better prepared. We should work harder. Sabrina stared at her. You think I'm not working hard? I didn't say that. No, Sabrina replied coldly. You implied it. The room fell silent. Then the same boy who had suggested spying leaned back in his chair. I can still get their final draft. Alicia stood immediately. No, if we cross that line, we deserve to lose. The boy rolled his eyes. You want second place. I'd rather have second than cheat. Sabrina looked between them. Her pride, her reputation, everything she'd built suddenly felt like it was slipping away. And for the first time in her university life, winning honestly no longer seemed guaranteed. She lowered her voice. No one gets caught. Alicia's face went pale. I can't be part of this. She picked up her bag, turned toward the door. Only 2 teams advanced to the university finals. Data strategy, marketing, exactly as everyone expected. Only now the atmosphere had changed completely. Students had picked sides. Some supported Sabrina because she had always represented Westbridge. Others quietly rooted for Noah, because everyone loved watching an underdog rise. The university finals would be held in the Grand Convention Hall. More than 500 students, faculty members, corporate judges, even representatives from companies offering internships. For many seniors, one performance could change their future. Pressure filled the campus. 2 nights before the finals, one of Sabrina's teammates quietly slipped into the innovation building using another student's access card. He knew exactly where Noah's team usually worked. He didn't intend to steal the project. That would be obvious. Instead, he photographed several pages of printed notes lying on the table. Research summaries, presentation order, key statistics. He smiled. That's enough. He never noticed the small security camera above the hallway. Finals day arrived. The convention hall buzzed with excitement. Students packed every seat, phones ready. Faculty lined the front rows. Corporate judges sat behind polished nameplates. Large screens displayed the words, WSDBRIDG University Innovation Final. Noah adjusted his tie. Maya nudged him. Nervous? A little. Liar, he laughed softly. I'm terrified. Across the backstage corridor, Sabrina looked flawless. Hair perfect. Blazer immaculate. Smile carefully rehearsed, yet her hands trembled ever so slightly. Her teammate whispered, We've got this. She nodded. We have to. Marketing presented first. The audience loved the opening. Professional, energetic, confident. For nearly 15 minutes, everything went smoothly. Then one judge leaned forward. Interesting. I've seen a similar market segmentation model before. Another judge adjusted his glasses. So have I, Sabrina smiled. It's an industry standard framework. The judge nodded slowly. Perhaps. He made a note. No one thought much of it, except Noah. He recognized those slides immediately. Several charts looked remarkably similar to diagrams his own team had developed, not identical, but close enough to make him uncomfortable. He stayed silent. The judges continued. Then it was Noah's team's turn. The lights dimmed. The opening screen appeared. Instead of flashy animations, a single sentence filled the display. Innovation begins where assumptions end. Noah stepped forward. The room grew quiet. Gone was the shy young man who had stood frozen in the courtyard weeks earlier. His voice was calm, measured, confident. Every answer was supported with evidence. Every statistic explained. When judges challenged him, he welcomed the questions. By the time the presentation ended, the audience erupted into applause. Even students who had mocked him before were standing. Not all, but enough. During the judges' deliberation, students flooded the lobby. Everyone debated who had won. Noah. No, Sabrina still had the better presentation. I don't know. It was close. As conversations spread, a university staff member hurried toward the judging panel holding a tablet. He whispered something to the chief judge. The judge's expression changed instantly. He looked toward the organizers, then toward Sabrina's team. Would both finalist teams please remain in the hall? The audience quieted. Something was wrong. The chief judge returned to the microphone. Before announcing the results, we need to clarify an issue. Murmurs rippled across the room. This morning, university security informed us of unusual after-hours access to the innovation building 2 nights ago. The giant screens switched from the competition logo to a security recording. A hooded figure entered the hallway, paused outside Noah's project room, walked inside. Several students gasped. The footage continued. The figure exited minutes later. One of Sabrina's teammates slowly lowered his head. His face had gone completely white. The judge spoke again. We have confirmed this individual is a registered member of the marketing team. The hall exploded with whispers. No way, they cheated. I knew something was off. Sabrina stared at the screen, her lips parted. She looked at her teammate. What did you do? He couldn't answer, because the truth was already playing in front of 500 people. The judges weren't finished. Following the security report, we also reviewed login records submitted voluntarily by Mr. Noah Carter. The audience turned toward Noah. We found earlier unauthorized attempts to access his team's project files. Another wave of murmurs swept through the hall. Although the evidence does not prove who ordered these actions, it establishes a pattern of misconduct connected to the marketing team. Silence, complete silence. The chief judge looked across the silent auditorium. Before we announced the final verdict, a voice echoed from the audience. Wait! Everyone turned. Alicia slowly stood. She wasn't looking at Sabrina. She wasn't looking at Noah. Her eyes were fixed on Maya.